Hey, remember to check in the description below for your class code to try out my classes. So we have a lot of content today, but before we jump into it, I want to go over a couple of things with you. First off, I'm not a physician, and I'm also not a medical professional, so please don't mistake me for one. 2, if you are having pain, you should probably go seek some medical attention. Please do not use this information to replace seeking a medical professional's opinion. 3, if you're having pain, you need to be cleared first to be doing this movement, so that way we make sure that you are safe, you're honoring your body, and whatever you're doing dance-wise and movement-wise is not exacerbating your pain. 4, my last thing to mention to you, each body is different. So some of these suggestions may work for you and they may not work for you. So please keep that in mind. I will say, if you do something and it exacerbates your pain, please stop immediately. Do not carry forth with it. Don't do it. Like I said earlier, make sure you are cleared by your medical professional to do movement such as oriental dance or any kind of physical activity before you move forward. Remember, the most important thing is your safety and honoring your body. So let's jump into the content of this video. First of all, we want to make sure your feeling that you are getting in your body is actually pain. There is a difference between pain and being sore from your body not being conditioned for the movement. So let's say I go and I run a marathon and I have not trained at all. My body is gonna feel it the next day. So this is really, really important for you to understand that difference in your body, because if it's a lack of conditioning in your body, then there are different steps to take than if it is actual pain. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, am I actually feeling pain, or did I just move my body in such a way that I'm not used to, and now I have muscle soreness because of it? The other thing that you want to keep in mind as we're going through this material is that you are changing the original movement. And because you are doing so, the expectation of it looking exactly the same should not exist, to be honest about it. You should minimize your expectation to, I'm going to do what's right for my body, because that's first and foremost. Most important is that you feel safe, your body is honored, meaning that you're taking good care of it and you're listening to it, versus I need to make it exactly like this, otherwise, it's not okay at all. That's not necessarily true. There are many of us that don't have full range of motion, or we experience pain or a lot of discomfort when we do certain movement. And so when we do that, we do alter the way it looks on our body, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I really don't think we should have the expectation that when we change the movement, that it will look exactly the same as the original way. So one of the things that a lot of my students ask me about is, how do they reduce their back pain? So one, like I said, you need to make sure that it's really okay for you to be moving, first of all, that you're cleared by your medical professional before you even move forward with this, okay? The other thing is, anytime you move your body, anytime it exacerbates your pain, stop. Right? So when they ask me about their back pain, I notice a couple of things. One, I ask, do you lock your knees? Because when you lock your knees, your body goes like this. You just like that. And now it depends on your bones and your skeleton to support your body. And what is your back comprised of? Bones and little discs that are in between them, right? The little, let's say, water balloons in between that give it some cushion. But now you're depending on that system in your body to hold you upright, versus when you actually allow your body to not be locked and then just go into your neutral position, you automatically engage your muscular system. And so now you are holding yourself upright through your muscles, not your bones. So this is one important thing you want to look for in your body, is that you are not locking your knees. The other thing you want to pay attention to is, when we belly dance, we talk about neutralizing our pelvis. So when you're not neutralizing your pelvis, you're ducktailing all the way out here. You see how curved I am? But when I neutralize, my tailbone comes all the way down. Now, how does this start to affect our movement? Let's say we're doing undulations. right? And you have that lower back pain. Okay, so you're about to do your undulation and it starts to look like this. Look at that. You see how it's coming up like a ducktail right here? And then your pelvis in the front just opens. And so it compresses your lower back, and that's how you can exacerbate some of the pain. So my suggestion to you would be to hold on to that neutralized tailbone as long as possible in your undulation. So instead of doing this, see how I'm like really ducktailing back? I will hold my tailbone long for as long as possible. Right here. Hold it, brief. Hold it, versus, you see the length of time I'm in my ducktailing versus the length of time I elongate my tailbone. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It will be an interesting change in your musicality and your movement, of course. However, it will also take a lot of pressure off your lower back. So that's one thing you can do to also adjust your movement as well as take some of the pressure off of your spine. So let's talk a little bit more about undulations. Right now, I have a couple people who actually have pain on the front of their body in their abdomen area. So whether it's in your hip extensor or in your oblique or your lower abs or anything like that, we want to make sure that we protect our body and not exacerbate the pain. So when you do an undulation, there's a couple ways that you can do it. There's more than this, but I just want to put these out there. There's muscular and then there's skeletal undulations. So when you use muscular undulations, what you're doing is you're really using your abs almost like you're putting a belly roll on top of your undulation, and you're using your abs to form your undulation. So as I come down, I tuck by using my muscle here, and then I push back. Okay, so I'm contracting my abs right here. So you can see if I have front abdomen pain or anything that is connected to my abdomen, this may hurt it. Right? This may bring on the pain, or you may not be able to do as much before you need to stop. So one of the things that you can do, instead of doing the muscular undulation, you want to do the skeletal undulation. That means you keep your abs engaged like that 20% we do for the neutral position, but then don't go beyond that, right? So if I'm doing my undulation, I want you to see the difference between the two. So I'm going to contract my abs in. Now, if I am just doing skeletal instead of squeezing in, I'm going to relax. And you can see it has a much softer look, and it's not contracting my abs in for the movement. This is driven by my lower back, opening my lower back as well as my spine. So if I use my muscles again, you will see that I can crunch in more with my abs, but it may bring on the pain. So let's do that together with the muscles first and then without the muscles. 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now without the muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the difference that you want to feel is there is a relaxation in your abdominal muscles when you start doing the skeletal ones. So we're using our bones in this particular situation in order to get the movement versus contracting the abs in and bringing on more discomfort. So let's go ahead and talk about your neck. A lot of the time we have this like upward motion where we just go like that. And I don't know about you, but that hurts the back of my neck a lot. So you want to think about what is the essence of the movement that you're trying to do and how can we alter it so we still keep that essence, but it may just look slightly different and not hurt our body. So if I'm wanting to look up like this, because a lot of the time you'll go up like this, and what you'll see is there's a crunching in the back of the neck, almost like it'll create like a hot dog, pack of hot dogs, right? Like, or just roll, and you can feel the compression in your cervical spine. So we don't want to do that. Honestly, to me, whether or not you have pain, I don't want to do that anyway. So because you can bring on pain because your neck isn't made to hang out in that position like that, right? So one of the things you want to do is if you want to get this nice like look right here of I'm looking up, what you're going to do is one, really activate the shoulders to push away from your ears, so you're creating more negative space here. One, that's going to elongate your neck immediately. After that, what you want to think about, and you're going to relax into that position even though you're actively pushing it down. You don't want to look like stressed as you do it. But as you push it down, one of the things that you want to do, instead of thinking about dropping your head back, you want to think about just slightly lifting the chin. So if I'm right here, I'm actively pushing down, what I'm going to do is like this. I'm just going to go until I feel that's my range of motion. And now you're slightly elevated. See, this is parallel to the ground, and then boom, I'm slightly up. Now, if I want to get that really up look, I'm going to look up. So we don't want to look so far up that your eyes are like this in the back of your head, but you want to aim for where your chin is. If you were to look at a 45 above, maybe go just slightly above it. So I'm going to kind of come in with my face here. So we're going to go look, and then right now I'm at about a 45 with my face. I kind of moved everything together like this, and then I'm just going to look slightly up above it. But now I'm going to honor my body, protect it. You see how my neck is still nice and long. It's not crunched at all. So I want to keep my back of my neck very long as I actively push down my shoulders and lift my chin and look up. So this gives the same essence. So if I have some moves where I lift right here versus going like that, I'm going to take away the pain, but I still get the essence of the look. So some of you may be experiencing hip pain. I know every now and then, if I don't take care of my hip and do my exercises, my left hip kind of twinges. So I'm very aware of this one in particular. So one of the things that I want us to think about on our bodies is our alignment. So sometimes you have hip pain because you're out of alignment with your body. And one of the ways that you may be out of alignment is your feet are too close together, or your feet are even too far apart. So what I tell my students is you have right here this like soft, meaty section in between where your leg meets your pubic bone. As you start to feel and go out, you're going to feel the cartilage feeling where it's a little bit firmer, like tendons and ligaments are right there. When you get to that point, that is in your neutral position, how far you should be standing apart with your feet, right? Or just even slightly in. So if mine are right here, my feet, I don't want to stand necessarily any wider than this, okay? And I might even want to go inwards. So women's bodies are constructed differently than men's bodies because our bodies are made to give birth. So there's this angle called the Q angle. And when you align particular body parts in your lower body, where you position your body makes a difference, and it can bring on hip pain. So this is one of those things, if you know a physical therapist, if you know someone who's an expert in physiology or physiology and anatomy, you're a medical professional, these are good questions to ask them. I'm not going to go into depth with that, but just know it can have an effect on your body, right? So seek your medical professional for follow-up information. Okay, so one of the things that can exacerbate hip pain is that your knees are not in alignment with your body. So if you lock your knees, not good. If your knees buckle in more than where your hip and your feet are, see I have this like bowing in right here, this is also not good. And I also want to pay attention to my feet. If I'm pronating too much or I'm supinating too much, then that will make a difference and it messes up my alignment. So what we want to pay attention to is that you are standing between your big toe and your third toe, up that line through the knees, about right here in your knee, about your kneecap, and then coming up into this position. If you're bowing out like this, then we want to make sure you're in alignment. You see how this is straighter than this, and this is straighter than this. You see what I'm saying? The other thing too is that maybe your feet are too close together. I see a lot of dancers dance like this, and this isn't always the best position for every body. So if you've been training like this and it doesn't feel good on your body, I'm not trying to go against your teacher. What we're trying to do is find a way that works for you so you can dance optimally, right? Because if you don't feel good, your technique is going to be out the door anyway. So if your feet are together and your body doesn't feel good dancing in this way, try and open up your feet a little bit. That being said, if your feet are straight, then and they don't feel good, try slightly turning them out. So right here, just a little bit. I know for me, when my feet face completely forward, I feel like my kneecaps are rolled in. So the minute that I turn my feet just slightly out, I am now in proper alignment. And then I've also had my physical trainer and my medical professionals look at my body and make sure that I'm in alignment. So the advice I'm giving you about to follow up with your medical professional, I am doing that. So I advise you to do the same. So you want to make sure that it's not an alignment issue with your body, because when you're doing stuff like this and you're doing undulations, right? Or even like this, but your knees are doing this, or you're standing like this is going to hurt your hips. This is going to hurt potentially your ankles, and so on and so forth. So we want to check our alignment. So one of the last things I want to cover today is knee discomfort. So we've talked about multiple things regarding the knees, so please visit those things in addition to what we're going to be talking about now. But a lot of the time when you bear weight only on one leg, like I am right now, woo! If you bear weight only on one leg, a lot of the time it just brings up a whole slew of things in that side of the body, whether you're feeling the burn on the side right here, whether you're feeling it all in your knee, maybe because you're locking your knee and you're not bending it, or there's just too much pressure. You may have to start doing movement that more evenly distributes your weight over both legs. So instead of doing hip lifts that depend only on that leg to do it. So let's say I'm all on my right leg right now, and then I'm here and I'm doing this movement. Maybe you can do it, but just keep in mind that maybe you can't do it for so long before it brings in the pain, or you need to bend your knee a little bit more to absorb that kind of pressure into the leg and use your muscles to support your body. Or you start doing hip drops where your foot is down and you have to keep it here. And instead of leaning all the way into that leg, you are now more evenly weighted. You see what the difference is? Maybe I'm here for this one because you're not bearing any weight versus I'm bearing the weight and it's only a moment. It may change the quality of your hip lift or other movements that you're doing, but remember, first and foremost, we want to take care of ourselves. So think about your weight distribution when it comes to your knee pain. If you are depending on that leg too much, get off of it a little bit, or don't hang out on that leg as much. Thank you so much for watching my video today. There was a lot of content in here, and I'm going to keep reiterating, see your medical professional, because I am not one. So these are all suggestions. And also remember that every body is different. So some of these may work for you, some of them may not, and some may like, well, I'm already doing those, but it's still not working. So definitely as many people on your health team as you can have, the better. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so you get notifications on when I upload new content. And like I promised, you will get some free singing. That's it.